Okay, thank you so much everyone for being here today. My name is Lisa Munson. I'm an Education Abroad Advisor here at NMSU, specifically with our Spanish, Portuguese programs, and then some others throughout Southern Europe. We are here today joined by Mario from the True Spanish Experience, which is one of our study abroad offerings for intensive Spanish language study in Spain. He has 2 locations to offer you, and we're going to hear from him in just a little bit. I know that some of you or all of you might be here for your Spanish classes, so I am going to take attendance for that to help out the Spanish department. If you could email me or put it in the chat, your name and email address, just so I can record your attendance here today, and we will be good to go. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Mario so he can share with you about the programs that we have available with the True Spanish Experience.
Okay, thank you very much, Lisa. Muchas gracias. Good afternoon from here from Spain. Buenas tardes de España, and good morning there. So, well, the idea is I'm Spanish. I can be talking for hours, but I will try to do a summary, so it's Friday and just be very, talking about the specific things I want to talk. I will talk a little about study abroad in Spain, about our programs, in Cuenca and Coruña, and I will play a video. So the idea is that you can watch, the images, and to see the program through images, not only listening to me, okay? And at the end, Lisa will talk a little more about enrollment, about scholarship, more specific things about New Mexico State University, okay? Of course, meanwhile, for any question, anything you want to know, we can talk at the end or during my talk, you just can ask any question, or if you're shy, you can write down in the chat, for any question, anything you want to know, okay? So, well, first of all, I would like to encourage, before starting, with our programs, I would like to encourage all of you to do study abroad. Why? Because it's one experience in your life. I working for more than 20 years with American students, who are traveling to the Spain for study abroad programs. And of course, it's an incredible cultural immersion. It's an incredible language program. So you are going to improve a lot your language skills, overall understanding and speaking. You will be able to talk, to understand people, and but also it's because it's going to change your mind. You are going to be able to see a different culture, different food, different everything. So you will learn, that nothing is better, nothing is worse. It's just different, not to compare any one culture with another, just to see that in the world is very big, with different culture, with a lot of different things, with a lot of things in common as well. That you will see that we have also things in common. Even we are very far away, but also a lot of different things. And I always say the same to the students and to everybody: nothing is better, nothing is worse. It's just different. And you learn to respect and to learn, about these different cultures. So that's why, for me, study abroad, even if you're attending for 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, I will talk to you later about our 2 programs. One, it can be from 2 or 3. Usually the New Mexico State University attend for 4 weeks, but also they can attend from 2, 3, or 4 weeks, or doing an internship for 2 months, but I will talk to you about later. But even if you're attending for 2, 3, or 4 weeks, it's an incredible experience, in a really immersion, and it's going to change your life. As I told you, my experience with 20 years with the American students, it has been amazing. With the way they change, the way you see the world. We are located in Spain. Well, first of all, a lot of students that are talking to me, okay, what's the difference between the Spanish from Latin America, the Spanish from Spain? Everything is Spanish. Is the same that we talk about the English from the United States and the English from the UK. You go there, you can communicate. It's different accent, different words, different. But I can travel all around Latin America. That's also one of the important things about the Spanish language, and to encourage you as well, to go on improving your Spanish language. Because you can travel all around Latin America, or you can work in Latin America, you can work in Spain, and of course in the United States, Spanish, is a very important language nowadays, for your professional future as well. So when the students are talking to me about Latin America and Spain, I always say that, again, it's nothing is better, nothing is worse, it's just different. So the only difference I can say is that if you go to any country in Latin America, that is amazing, Costa Rica, Mexico, Argentina, etc. It's an American experience. And if you go to Spain, you have an European experience because we are in Europe. So we have a lot of things in common, with Latin American countries, apart of the language, but also we are in Europe, so we have a lot of things in common with Europe. So it's a completely different experience, to have more like an American experience or like an European experience. Also, another advantage, that our students are doing is that Europe is very small if we compare with the States, and you can travel around Spain or some countries in Europe. I mean, Portugal is just 1 hour, 55 minutes, from Madrid, from Lisbon, for example, or Paris is just 1 hour and a half. Dublin is just 2 hours flight. There is a low-cost companies in Spain that maybe you can have a return ticket for $90, return ticket to Paris, to Berlin, to Rome. So a lot of the students also take the advantage that they're in Europe. So they can travel not only around Spain, but of course, in Spain, you can travel by train very easily and very, very cheap, So it's as I told you, it's an European experience, So always we say that it's not better, it's not worse the Spanish from Spain, from Latin America. All of them are perfect. It will be a great experience. But I mean, of course, in Spain, it's very, very, very different because we are in Europe. Okay. I will show you a video about our two cities. We're in Cuenca and Coruña. They are small towns, very well located and beautiful and well connected. What I always recommend to the students, of course, we will be happy that you are attending our program. Of course, we have the program all over the year. Most of the students are attending, of course, maybe by May, June, something like that. But we also have students during all year. This year, we have some students from New Mexico State University who are attending in December before Christmas time. So anytime you want to attend, it will be available, the classes for you in Spanish experience. As I told you, I always recommend, when you travel to a study abroad program, to be in a small town. I mean, of course, that depends. I have students who want to go to Madrid or Barcelona, and I say, you have to go to Madrid or Barcelona. Absolutely. It's the same that if I want to learn English in New York, I have to go to New York, Of course, that's a personal option, But if you don't know very well where to go, etc., always a small place is better because it's safer, everything is easier for the students, it's easier to make a real immersion, and there will be a few international students. And this is something good, not bad. If you go to a place with a crowd of American students, okay, you are going to be, like in the States, but the idea is that you want to meet Spanish people, you want to improve your language skills, etc. And it's always better to be in a small place with less international students. Okay, but this is just a recommendation. I say always, that will depend on your interest. Okay, so let me play. I'm going to share my screen. Can you see my screen now, Lisa?
Yes, we can see it.
So we have two videos here. Oops. The first one, I want to talk to you about our programs through the video, and you're going to be able to see our cities, Cuenca and Coruña. Our project is True Spanish Experience. Of course, we transfer that will be, Lisa will talk about this later, but of course, we transfer the credits from the courses that you will be doing here in True Spanish Experience, to New Mexico State University. And we have a YouTube channel as well. It's True Spanish Experience. Okay. And I'm going to talk about the program, and you're going to be able to see the city, the two different cities. Also, you can do a combination of both. So we have students who have been doing, for example, 2 weeks in Cuenca, and they take a train from Cuenca, and they took the 2 weeks in Coruña. So also you are combining, the Spanish lesson, the study abroad, with traveling around Spain. So also this is also something interesting about our program, our location, but also because the location are not very far, because it's just 1 hour by flight or 3 hours and a half by train. In Spain, the train works perfectly, so we always recommend the students to travel by train. But they are very, very different. You will see, Cuenca from Coruña is like different countries. And Spain is a very interesting country because even if it's very small, if we compare with the States, it's very different from the north to the south. If you go to the north, you will see it's like Ireland. It's very green. But if you go to the south, it's like Morocco because there is a desert. If you go to the center, it's completely different. If you go to the Mediterranean, so all around Spain, even if it's just 1 or 2 hours by train, it's the landscapes and the cultural aspect change a lot. And that's also something really, really interesting about Spain, about the country. So let me please. So here is Spain. As you can see here, Dublin is here, Paris is here, Rome is here. So everything is less than 2 hours by flight. Madrid is here, my hometown is here, and Cuenca is here. Cuenca is a World Heritage by UNESCO. It's a medieval city, really beautiful, small town, just 60,000 inhabitants, but it's very well located because it's only 1 hour by train from Madrid. So if you arrive to Cuenca, you fly to Madrid, and then you can take a train directly 1 hour, and you arrive to Cuenca. It's very, very easily and very safe and very good. And Coruña is here, and you will see it's completely different. Also, it's a little bigger. If you want not so a small city, it has like 200,000 inhabitants, and you will see that it's completely different, but also very well located. So just 1 second, I want you to. So you can see here, Cuenca is in the middle of the nature, even if it's just 1 hour from Madrid. So the advantage about Cuenca is you have the big city, the capital is just 1 hour. So you can go for the weekend to Madrid, to arrive to Madrid, to go shopping to Madrid. But the study abroad program is in Cuenca, it's a very safe place. Everything is walking distance. So if you are a little afraid of traveling abroad alone, that a lot of students, they are, oh my God, traveling so far. We are a small project. We are very like a family. So we take care of the students for anything you could need about traveling there the weekends. If you need to go to the doctor, if you go to the bank, always there is one person at True Spanish Speakers who is going to go with you to the doctor or to help you with anything. So also this is something very important about the True Spanish experience, that it's very personalized and we are like a little family. So this is Cuenca. As I told you, this is a beautiful place, World Heritage by UNESCO, and very important in abstract and contemporary art in Spain, because in Cuenca, you can find the most important museum of abstract painters is in Cuenca. So it's also that we collaborate with, and it's also one of the most important cities in Spain in relation with contemporary art, Spanish contemporary art. So this is different kind of a group of students, we are in the middle of the nature, so we also do a lot of activities, in the nature. And you will find, see here, Coruña, as you can see, it's completely different. We have the sea there. It's green. It's very like Ireland, more like than the south, but it's Spain as well. So also here we do a lot of, sea activities because, it's a very important port, and beaches, if you go during summertime, there is beautiful beaches there, where you can go to swim, to have some baths, etc. So it's also a completely different experience, but also very beautiful. So this is, for example, the Spanish lesson. As I told you, I'm going to talk about 2 different kind of programs that we have with New Mexico State University. Mainly, one is the one with short-term programs, is the Spanish lesson plus cultural experiences. So in the morning, you have the Spanish lessons of your level. And as I told you, we transfer the credits from these classes to New Mexico State University. And then in the afternoon, you have the cultural experiences. The idea is that you are going to do different cultural activities, as we will see later. And the idea is to learn the language, not only in the classroom, but also doing things, doing cooking workshop. So while you're learning how to cook a tortilla de patata, you are going to be learning the language and the culture through doing this. Even during the morning, we're in immersion, so we're not all the time in the classroom. We're in Spain. So we take advantage of that, and we want you to learn the language in real situation. So as you will see now, we take the student outside to use the language in real situations, in the market, etc. I'm going to, sorry, I just wanted to check. Sorry. Yes. So this is very small, always a small size classroom, from 2 to 10 students plus classroom. The idea is you're going to be able to participate and to improve very quickly. This is, for example, the Spanish lessons, where we take the students outside to the market. So, for example, imagine that we are learning how much is this, and then we take the students and we go to the market, so you can use and you can learn and you can practice in real situation with people. That's why when you get back to the stage, you will realize that your Spanish has improved a lot, even if you are there for 2, 3, or 4 weeks. Always the students, they realize when you have been, for in Spain, that the Spanish, overall, the way you can communicate and understand it, it's improved a lot. So this is, for example, these classes in Cuenca and Coruña, the classes are exactly the same. As I told you, you can. Well, this is our university in Coruña. You know that we are associated with a university there. Because I want you to. Well, as I told you, we have two different. That's what I wanted to do. Yes, we have two different kind of programs. One is the short term and the long term. The long term program is a minimum of 2 months, so you can come, for example, you can attend during summertime, June, July, in your vacation. And in the morning, you're going to receive the Spanish lessons as well as in the short term program. And in the afternoon, in the long term program, you are able to have the professional internships. I love this program because you are going to be able not only to improve the Spanish language, but also you're going to be able to have an internship about your major. For example, we have, I always remember we have one student from New Mexico State University. She was doing the major veterinarian and minor in Spanish. You will see later here. And she was doing an internship in an organization that take care of the wildlife animals in the mountains in Cuenca. So she was working with the top professionals in wildlife in Cuenca during 3 months. And in the morning, she was taking the Spanish lessons. But you will see that we have a lot of different, areas like sport, international relations, marketing. This is students from New Mexico State University, tourism, hospitality, new technologies, et cetera, et cetera. So there is a lot of education, volunteering. We have a program with the Red Cross and other organizations. Conversation assistant in English. So this will be, for the long-term program. As I told you, minimum 2 months. But they can be done also during summertime. For the short-term programs, the one could be for 2, 3, or 4 weeks. We have in the afternoon, we are having the experiencias. So the idea, as I told you, is to learn the language to do in activities, sport activities like climbing, like sailing, like horse riding, so different. In A Coruna, we do sailing classes, we do surf lessons, or tennis, also depending on the interest of the students. But as well, we do cooking workshop, we're doing pottery workshop, we're doing this is in Cuenca, for example. And this is all very connected with the Spanish lesson. So the idea is that you are going to enjoy flamenco lesson, to learn a little about the folklore in the south of Spain. So the idea is to enjoy, of course, in the afternoon, but at the same time to learn about the language and about the culture, at the same time that you're enjoying, and meeting Spanish people at the same time, like football matches, basketball, and pottery workshop, as I told you. Cooking workshop, always food is very important for the Spanish people, not only eating. It's a social moment, so you will learn a lot about the Spanish gastronomy, and also about the Spanish museum, about the Spanish art. We do a Spanish workshop, art workshop, etc. And accommodation, we offer different kind of accommodations. We usually recommend for the short-term program the host family. So you stay with the Spanish family. Why? Because if you are going to be a short-term family, we have the residence and the share apartment. Our recommendation, as I told you, of course, you decide what you want, but the idea is that if you're attending a short-term program, we always recommend the families because we are going to have a complete immersion in the Spanish language, the Spanish gastronomy, the Spanish culture. And if you're attending, for example, for the long-term, most of the students are staying in share apartment. Also, they are going to be with the Spanish or international students, but you are going to be more independent, to do whatever you want, okay? So any question from the moment? Okay, at the end, we will have time. Don't be shy. And if you are shy, as I told you, you can write down at the chat so you don't have to talk. Well, I would like to go on with a video about one of students from New Mexico State University. She was, in this case, she was, Sasha, here it is. So she is going to talk about her experience in Cuenca in 2022. She was in Coruña, and just 4 minutes, so I'm happy that she will be able to talk about, because I can be talking, as I told you, for hours, but she will talk to you about her personal experience, okay? So let's listen to
Sasha Smith. My name is Sasha Smith. I am a New Mexico State University alumni. I did my undergraduate and graduate degrees at New Mexico State. I graduated in May of 2020 with my bachelor's and in May of 2022 with my master's, both degrees in electrical engineering. For my last semester at New Mexico State, I studied abroad in Spain in a beautiful city called La Coruña through the True Spanish Experience Program, also called the TSE program. I will get into a bit more detail about the city that I lived in a bit, but first I want to talk about the TSE program. Through the TSE program, I was able to take Spanish classes where you can especially learn about local culture and improve your Spanish fluency or learn Spanish. The other part of that program was me assisting with some English and math classes at a local university, which was just an awesome experience. I got to make friends from Spain as well as other countries, since some of the students there were studying abroad from within Europe. I stayed with a host family, which was fantastic. My host mom was absolutely wonderful. It really helped me further immerse myself in the culture because I was speaking Spanish everywhere, at school, in class, at home. And the best part of all of that is that my host family really took me in as if I were their own, and they became family to me. And now I have a second home. Aside from my studies, I was able to explore while I was abroad. So just a little bit of background, Spain is divided into what are called regions, and then each region contains a province or multiple provinces, and then each province can contain multiple cities. So I lived in the region of Galicia, which has 4 provinces, and of the 4, I lived in the province of La Coruña, and more specifically, I lived in the city of La Coruña, since it is also a city as well as a province. You can Google Maps all of that for more clarity. I explored locally in La Coruña, of course, because I lived there. The city is along the Atlantic Ocean, so you have access to the sea, which is really beautiful. The water is very, very blue. If surfing is something that you're interested in, they have a pretty active surfing community, so I would recommend that to you if you're interested in that. Around the city, I got to see La Torre de Hércules, which is a very famous historic site, and there's also an aquarium and some museums that you can check out. There are tons of cafes and shops and restaurants and ice cream places. Pro tip: be sure that you have an umbrella with you because it rains pretty often in basically all of Galicia. The food in Galicia is absolutely amazing. It is easy to find products that are produced locally. Because it rains a lot, the soil is really healthy, and then of course the ocean is nearby. So if you like seafood or fish, I would recommend that you have some. I was able to travel around to see different cities in Spain. I went to Santiago, Madrid, Barcelona, Bilbao, San Sebastian, and Cuenca. I also went to a city called Porto in Portugal, and then I also visited Dublin, Ireland. So if you want to travel to other places, it is pretty easy and cost effective if you plan in advance. So if you wanted to travel, depending on the city, you can actually take a train called Renfe. This is Spain's national railway company. It is super easy to use and can be a lot less stressful than flying to travel, especially with luggage. Of course, if you go to like Ireland, you would need to fly. So if you're interested in that, there is an Irish airline called Ryanair. And if you plan in advance, you can get very, very cost-effective flights from Santiago, which is about a 30-minute train ride from Coruña. So with all of that said, I absolutely loved living in Coruña. I encourage you all to consider this city for studying abroad. It is truly a great place. I am very grateful for my experience there, and I have no doubt that your experience will be filled with lots of adventure and new experiences. So embrace it all and good luck. Happy travels.
Thank you. So,
Helen Hansel was able to win any competition.
university, and I will be very happy, to help you with anything or with any doubt or your specific case, okay?
Mario and I work really closely together in terms of getting you guys set up over there. So absolutely, he's always very, very fast, very responsive on email and easy to work with. So if anyone else has any other questions, let me just go through the piece on the NMSU side, and then we can answer any other questions that might remain. If you have not yet sent me your name and email address and you need credit for being here for Spanish, please do so. I am going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay, can we see my screen okay? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So
Yes.
this is our website. This is the best place for you all to get started if you're interested in doing this. So True Spanish Experience, when you study abroad, you are going to be earning NMSU academic credit. In order to do that, you need to start your process with our office first to make sure that you're on our radar and that we can help you get there. So I'm going to show you the program page. So here on our program search, this is the best place to get started. We are going to go ahead and look for the True Spanish Experience. And I'll just say while I'm finding this, what Mario's talking about in terms of like the immersion, the Spanish immersion, I studied abroad in Chile on a different program. I was taking like classes and electives, not the Spanish immersion, and I learned a ton. And I can only imagine how much my Spanish would have grown if I was in like 20 hours of Spanish instruction a week, plus the experiences or an internship or whatever else I was doing. Living with a host family is absolutely the best way to increase that kind of cultural and language immersion as well. So I cannot encourage you guys more if you are interested in really just diving into Spanish and strengthening your Spanish. This is the best way to do it. So this is our page for the True Spanish Experience. You'll see here all of our program eligibility. So on our end, we require that you all be 18, at least a sophomore in standing, so 28 credits completed. We'll check to make sure you're in good academic and disciplinary standing with student conduct, and you need at least a 2.5 minimum GPA. So here's the two locations that Mario already kind of walked through. I'm not going to get into the details there because he knows it far better than I do. This program is really unique, so you can go basically whenever it's convenient for you. So we have spring, summer, fall, winter break options, and your classes will always start on a Monday and go Monday to Friday. In order to get your credits, so normally when you study abroad, you are not bringing grades back with you, you are just taking classes from a host university or a program. This program is unique in that you will be enrolled by me in specific NMSU Spanish courses. So these are the courses that are available with TSE for NMSU Spanish. So if you're taking 1110 or 1120, you'll be earning 4 credits. For a 4-credit class, you need to be in Spain for 4 weeks. For the rest of our 3-credit classes, you can earn those 3 credits in only 2 weeks. So you'll set your own program dates depending when you want to go. You can pick a Monday to arrive. Your Monday to Friday is week 1, second Monday to Friday is week 2, and you can stack as many of those as you need based on the credits you're looking for. So our students who go for a fall or spring semester, we generally recommend about 15 credits abroad to transfer back to maintain your scholarship eligibility, which we'll talk about. So students will work with the Spanish department. You'll specifically work with Profe Jeff Longwell. He advises for all of our Spanish and foreign language programs in order to help you figure out your credits and your courses. And he will kind of work with you to help you build your schedule from these classes. We also have students, kind of like Desiree was speaking about, who will go for a short-term option and maybe just do 1 or 2 classes over winter break or a summer term. And so they'll just pick a couple of these classes and be in Spain as long as they need to get those credits done. It's important to keep in mind you will get grades for these courses. Since they are NMSU courses, Dr. Longwell will assign your grades for those. You will get like language certificates of completion and records from TSE as well, kind of indicating how you did in your classes, and we will receive all of that. So the budget for this program is also unique because you are taking NMSU Spanish courses. This is an example of a fall budget. So this would be for a full semester, about 15 credits for 10 weeks. And you can see that you're being billed for two things. One is your NMSU Spanish credits. So we bill at $85 per credit. And then we also enroll you in your health insurance based on how long you're going to be there. So we'll talk about scholarships and aid, but if you have aid that you can use for study abroad, it's going to go towards that billable subtotal first. The rest of these expenses are considered your out-of-pocket expenses. That doesn't mean you can't use aid towards it. It just means that we're not administering those charges. So you can see some of those you're paying to TSE in your tuition and your housing there. Some of them you pay with your application to our office, like your placement fee. Others are your airfare, booking your flights, getting a passport if you need one, your health exam, and potentially visa fees. So if you have aid that disperses to your billing statement and then you get some refund checks back, you can then use that towards the rest of these expenses as well. One thing to keep in mind, if you are going to be going to Spain for a full semester, 90 days or more, you will need to apply for a Spanish student visa. This is something we will go through once you start an application with us, but just keep in mind you will need a passport to do this visa process as well as just to enter Spain. So if you don't already have a passport, we have a passport office on campus that you can get started with, and that way once your visa rolls around, you have that all sorted out. If you're going on a summer program, you currently do not need a visa. There is some information that there might be some changes coming down the line in terms of short-term visa requirements for everyone from the States who's going to Europe or to the EU in general. We will share more information with you as that process develops and help you with those applications. This is everything else that Mario already covered regarding your housing, your meals. I will say if you do a host family and they are cooking for you, you will probably never eat better food in your life than what like a Spanish family or any sort of host family is going to be cooking for you. You can see Sasha's video again there. If you use any accommodations on campus, academic, physical, mental, and you need to continue those abroad, please start a conversation with our office and Disability Access Services as soon as possible so we can start working with our partners to see how we can implement accommodations for you. Just going to go over our deadlines really quick, and then we'll just talk about scholarships and how to start this process for our office. And then if anyone else has any questions, we can wrap up with those. So we have advising sessions Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays in the mornings or afternoons. And then from Wednesdays from 1 to 4, we have just open advising where you can just stop in without an appointment for walk-in Wednesdays and visit us. If you are interested in going for fall or summer, those are the earliest terms you can go right now in terms of our deadlines. So our deadline for fall and summer terms is going to be March 15th. This is a very easy sort of program to apply for with our office because you're not running around to a bunch of different professors on campus getting your courses pre-approved. You will only meet with Dr. Longwell to get your Spanish courses approved. If you're doing an internship, we'll take a little bit more time to kind of figure out your internship and what you're interested in doing, and that will be an ongoing conversation with Mario and his team, but the application is not very long or strenuous. If you're interested in going for a spring or winter break semester, winter break is a good fit for this program. We don't have many options for winter break, but this one does work really well. That deadline's September 15th. So if you are interested in starting an application, if this sounds like something that's a really cool fit for you, or you just want more information, you can go to our website and click on schedule an appointment. This will get you over to our website where you can see my information. And you can just go ahead and request an appointment for a specific time and date, or just come to our walk-ins if none of those work for you, and I'd be happy to meet with you. So finally, I promised to talk about scholarships. So on the cost and funding page, you can get to our scholarships website. You can also get there from our main website under finances. So these are old, I need to update the dates here, but we will hold every single semester, I'll hold scholarship workshops to go over your opportunities available. These are going to be posted on our YouTube page as well. But we have a lot of scholarship options for you. So we have scholarships through our office. We just have one application that you need to complete in our Education Abroad application, as well as completing your Scholar Dollar. And then you're eligible to be considered for all the different scholarships that we have with just that one application plus your Scholar Dollar. There are also external scholarships. So the Gilman Scholarship is a great fit for our students who receive the Pell Grant, our U.S. citizens and undergraduates. Gilman The application deadline coming up is October 10th for programs starting between December and then next October. This will give you up to $5,000 to study abroad, and our students are specifically competitive here because Gilman does prioritize minority-serving institutions, which we are. Gilman McCain is a great fit if you are the dependent of someone who is active duty. You don't need to get Pell, just any type of Title IV federal aid. And then we have aid like the Fund for Education Abroad, which is broader than Gilman. It's just 2 very short essays, and you just need to demonstrate financial aid. They prefer students who are first gen, students of color, first-time travelers. So if you're from one of those communities and want to share those experiences in your application, you would have a pretty good chance at being considered for that scholarship. We also have some just scholarship kind of search engines here, so you can use those to look at more opportunities. But if you receive NMSU aid as well, like Opportunity, Lottery, some institutional scholarships, you can use those as well towards your program to help out with those program expenses. So that is everything I had specifically. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. If anyone has any questions for us, please go ahead, put them in the chat or unmute yourself. We will hang around for a little bit in case you have any questions. Mario, was there anything else that you wanted to conclude with?
No, just thank you very much. Muchas gracias a todos. Again, just to encourage all of you, to study abroad. We will be very, very, very happy to have you in Cuenca or Coruña. But if you don't, just travel, just go to another country, but study abroad because it's a one life experience, and you will be very happy. And Desira, I see you. I hope to see you in Coruña, but if not, Noelia will be take care of you. And hope to see any of you next year in Cuenca or Coruña. And of course, you have my email for any specific question, something specific you want to know about your specific case. I will be happy to help you. And you have an amazing study abroad office there. So make an appointment just to talk, and to know the options, okay? Así que nada más, muchas gracias. Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here, Mario. I will stick around for a little bit if anyone has any questions. Otherwise, we're ending a little bit early. You're free to go. We will post this on our YouTube page as well, so you can share it with your friends, or if you came in late and maybe missed the beginning portion, it will be there for you to check out as well. And then if you haven't let me know yet, if you need Spanish credit, please go ahead and send me a chat with your name and email address so I can get that information over to our fantastic Spanish faculty.